see you boys found my camper.
You slept with my you're a cocaine wizard.
Focus, focus.
This is the stupidest movie I've ever been a part of. It's a stupid chair.
Welcome everybody to 72 at 31. This is our interview series for the 72 Film Fest, where we talk with the teams and get their insights and perspectives on their films and their work. I'm here today with Stepdad Productions. My name is Doug Powell, I'm your host. And back to, real quick, greedy astronauts from NYC.
Okay. We were teaching a class for, me and Emily were teaching a class for like 8 to 12-year-olds on writing. Okay. And it was, we were rolling the dice to figure out the setting, the mood, and the characters.
How many sides did the dice have?
Well, we were rolling 3 at a time, so it went up to 18.
So I guess
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a 164-sided D&D die.
And it went, we landed on Greedy Astronauts from New York City, which
that just
we
came up?
decided was going to be like a new NBC show.
Yeah.
Starring, Shia LaBeouf's mom.
Shia LaBeouf's dad and Tina Fey's cousin's dog's friend.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
From the
I kind of feel like that's
creators
a
of,
little
from the
bit of
creators of,
how
like-
they go about doing that. I think that's probably how they write
It's
new TV
unrealistic.
shows.
All
Yeah.
astronauts are from Ohio.
Astronauts are kind of from the Midwest, right?
No,
Yeah.
from Ohio.
These are from
Specifically,
Holy
the greedy astronauts are from
Guys,
NYC.
that's a common knowledge. Well, that's the whole hook of the show. It's like, what if astronauts weren't from Ohio?
What if they were
It's high concept.
greedy? How can you be any greedier than already? I feel like astronauts are already greedy, right?
What,
You
they-
want to be an astronaut?
They already have the
Well,
Earth. They
disbanded
want the whole
shuttle program,
sky.
didn't they?
What's that?
I think the shuttle program's over, isn't it? No more astronauts.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, good.
Greedy.
Why don't we go around and everybody introduce yourself?
All right, I'm Adam Willem.
Eric Looney.
Brendan Kerr.
Cody.
Yeah, anonymous.
I'm Emily Holcomb.
All right. So, first question for you guys: Stepdad Productions. Where's that come from?
I wasn't there, I take no responsibility.
That was our
None of us came up with
Well,
this.
that was our long lost ex-partner. No, his name.
He did 3 films with us and like was so angry that we were literally doing a film about mutant sheep people zombies that like he never did another film with us again.
He was upset about it?
No, yeah,
He's
we're
a
kidding.
great
No,
guy.
He's
I see
really,
him all the
he's
time.
really he's done some amazing work now.
But he came up with the idea. It was he's like,
Are we
oh,
gonna say it?
Stepdad Productions, because we beat you and you hate us, like a stepdad.
Man, that brought back so many memories.
And now that's
So,
on the internet.
because we beat you and you hate us, like your
Yep.
stepdad.
Like
such
a
a
competition
such an
taunt.
arrogant, bad
Wow.
reasons.
I'm always gonna have that in my head now when I think of your team.
And yeah, now it's on the internet. So
After Chairs, we told that to the Frederick News Post lady, and she was like, oh.
we're not gonna put that in there.
Yeah, I believe stepdads in America are trying to reverse their bad rep. So let's not do that here on 72 and 30. Try to keep the belt on. So how many years have you all been competing in the film fest?
Since 2009, so this is gonna be our 7th.
No.
Basic math is not what we do here.
There's gonna be our 15th year this fall. I mean 7th.
Yeah.
Wow.
This will be our 7th year. Yes.
Wow, okay. Well, I spent the week watching a bunch of your stuff, and I love your films, and I love your sense of humor. You guys are like, you're very funny and obscure with your humor too. So you were just talking about sheep people. You made a quick reference to sheep people. What was the criteria that year? Do you remember?
It was bio.
Oh, it was the pictures. It was the no, it was
No,
the
that was the
pictures.
year.
Okay.
We had
Was
to
the
recreate. We had pictures from last
Right.
last year's, and we had to our first frame and our last frame had to be the 2 pictures.
Right, I remember that.
Oh,
Okay.
We actually
it's
are
inspiration. Too.
Yeah, inspiration.
Yeah.
Right, inspiration from each
Inspiration.
other, which is why we have that line in Sheep People where he's like, "You inspire me."
No, we inspire each other.
Yeah, that's like literally saying the theme of the festival. We did not move on that year.
We got on to the second night.
Did you?
Oh,
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. But
So it was there a picture of a sheep?
no, it was actually.
I want to get into your minds of where. Okay, that got.
If you're wondering like where the idea came
Yeah,
from.
I really am. I want to know like.
He was one time he walked into a chair at a party and got like really mad at it and said
That's how
this chair
chairs-
attacked me and that's
So
how
that's how chairs
happen.
happen.
How
Yeah.
it blossomed. What I usually do is like, we're on like the first night, we're trying to figure out all the ideas and everything. We're just
pitching
like,
and
come up with
getting
like
nowhere.
random like
Right.
thing, and I'm like, take that, plant it in their heads, and they're like, oh, that's stupid,
But then they come back
But
around
then
to it.
I bring
yeah.
it back up later. I'm like, or we could do this. And
Yeah,
they're
remember
like,
that time that
"Oh."
chair attacked me?
Yeah, and they're like, well,
Yeah.
that's pretty good. But no, that's stupid. We can't do that. We can't do that.
So, chairs and sheep people.
Right.
I noticed a lot of similarities in those films.
It's actually Chairs, Sheep People, and White Magic form the Unlikely Things Are Threats trilogy. Which is
But do cocaine wizards exist?
and so
Chairs exist.
what-
Why
that's a-
sheep people don't exist? I don't know.
That's another thing. Okay, so cocaine. I get like a wizard. I get if you guys were like wizards. Cocaine wizard? Where the hell?
Okay,
We had a perfectly normal idea, and we were trying to like flesh it out, but then it was Adam, and Adam's like, guys, this is too normal, and everybody's just like, yeah, screw this, and we like threw it out the window.
we knew we wanted something to do with cocaine though. Every idea we pitched
Cody-
had cocaine in it.
Cody pitched this terrible idea with cocaine. I don't understand
Okay.
to this day. He was
Coach,
like,
do you want to try and explain?
Yeah, we do a thing like after every film fest, we go to Red Robin's.
After the
On
launch.
cocaine. Sorry.
So after the launch party.
After the launch party,
we
Red
go to
Robin.
Red Robin's, and we get some burgers and some fries and some
Magic
root beer
House.
floats and Milky Moves, and we like pitched ideas.
Couple of milk.
we did that.
Couple of milky moves.
There's a lot of members that didn't show up, but we all around were like, oh, I'll take a beer. Everyone like got alcohol, and then one guy was just like, I'll take a Milky Moo Moo. And we were just like, what?
You're out.
But anyway,
Anyways, I don't know how we stumbled upon the idea of like cocaine, but I was like, I thought it'd be a really good idea if like these people like chasing this guy down and like they like it's like beginning of the movie and they're like running and like guys like running away and you don't know what's going on. It's like very like sporadic. And then all of a sudden they like grab him and like put him down on the table and like rip his chest open and like just like pull out like bags of like cocaine
Out of his body?
out of his body, and he's still alive.
So he's like a living mule that's just
Yeah.
like stuff.
Yeah, and he's still good, and then like they like stow him back up and like just like throw him on the street, and then like that's the opening of the movie.
We just said he'd open up his shirt and there would just be cocaine.
you described it. No, you
Is he
described it as
injured?
we
No.
would have
It's in
ground,
his
we would have we would do the effect by showing ground beef as his innards with just bags of cocaine placed in it.
But he lived.
That's what it is.
Huh, I love it. That's one of the cool things about the 72 Fest, though, that you don't have a lot of time to be like, no, that's too ridiculous. Sometimes you gotta be like, all right, okay, cocaine wizard.
I mean, I think that's how we've worked even on not 72 Fest projects. Is I think there's been maybe one project where we've devoted more than maybe 4 days to being able to work on it because of all of our schedules.
Right.
So I think one of the things that's held us together is the fact that like we know we can do that. Like we know if we can carve out a couple days, we can make something, and like so that helps keep us together.
Okay, so kind of set a deadline for yourself, and just you got to meet the deadline no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard that from a couple of the teams that have come in to talk already. Kind of, I don't know. I feel like having a deadline gets stuff done for sure.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff have you guys worked on outside of the 72 Fest?
Other 72 fests. No,
There are others.
No, it's like we have done other time festivals. We've also done a couple comedy sketches and just some more kind of weirder stuff. I guess not like
More
weirder, but more experimental. More like we're trying something different. Like we had this one movie that was shot entirely like an indie film.
Okay.
And it's just the goal of this movie was like, how much can we frustrate the audience? So like we show someone like getting ready and doing his morning routine, and like we show it for a full minute. And then like as soon as he's done and we see him like eating cereal for like 20 seconds, he just goes outside and is like immediately shot.
I think I remember seeing that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was cool. The whole movie was just really slow, really slowly paced. It was just like slowly building you up, and then he gets shot, and then it's another slow scene, really slowly paced until the very end. It's very quick cuts and lots of argument. There's like not a lot of lines throughout the whole beginning, but the very end is just constant bickering at each other in stupid ghost costumes.
So why choose that method? Like, what was it that drove? What was the drive behind that? Like, with an intent to like,
movie?
well, with an intent to like. Normally, I guess the intent would be let's satisfy the audience or let's make something that's
Right.
satisfying. What drives that?
I think that drives all of our
Well, we
stuff on some level.
I
To
mean,
kind
that
of
drive
be
but
off-putting,
we
or-
also do
Yeah.
keep the audience in mind. I mean, like for
Yeah.
that movie, we specifically wanted to piss them off.
But like,
Well, like, but
Too
we
many
wanna make
milky
it, like,
moo-moos.
yeah, like I mean, like it would piss off someone who's like really like involved in it or like you know expecting something.
Right.
But if
What-
you're not expecting anything, it'd be great.
what
Yeah.
we like to do, honestly, we have two things that we really like to do with our movies, and one is
Cocaine.
Yeah.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
One is play with
Full-time.
one is play with different genres.
Okay.
Like everything we make, we try and make it in like a different genre than
Sure.
we had before. Usually with a fake opening, so that like nobody
that's
knows
what
what
we
they're
like to
watching.
do.
at
Yeah,
first.
I did notice
And the
that
other
a
thing
couple
we like to
times.
do is we like to mess with our audience, because what we discovered doing the 72 Fest is that like audiences actually really like that.
Yeah.
Like it's people like having their expectations just completely turned on their heads.
I think that's an interesting point because how do you guys feel about like the direction of the 72 Fest? A lot of the films that you're seeing being made by other teams, do you think teams are making similar type films, or do you think there's enough diversity in people's like attempts at filmmaking, or do you feel like maybe people are all kind of trying to do the same thing? What are your thoughts on
I
that?
feel like there's definitely a lot of diversity because
Yeah.
some people like serious stuff, and you see them do like serious stuff. I forget a lot of the names, but that one guy he did like I really liked his like avant-garde like weird stuff he did. What was?
You're
he did,
talking
like-
about Noah McWilliams, who did he did a couple of really crazy
What
ones.
was the
in
one he
past
did
few
with
years.
like the styrofoam and then like the credit report guy was like
Yes,
the
that
money.
was awesome. I
Yeah,
love
I
that
really
film.
did
I
like
don't remember the name of that. You guys probably remember the name. Gross, Team Gross. Yeah, absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I like our stuff because we won Best Amateur in like 2010. I don't know how we won it, but
What
but
was
it
the film that year?
It was like the prison, the other.
Yeah,
Other Side.
okay, right.
Unfortunately, Jason Derulo came up with a song called "The Other Side," so no one looks it up on YouTube. I'm convinced that's why.
Unfindable.
That's
the
why.
only reason why we haven't gone viral. Is Jason Derulo.
That's
I'll get him. But anyway, but we won it that year, and then the next year we weren't nominated for anything. We went on the second night for Sheep People. But I want to say like 2 years after that or something, we were like in the parking lot for something during the 72, not before they screened, and we saw like Pecos Bill, and they were like, "Oh, you guys made that Sheep People movie." We're like, "Oh yeah, we did." But it's like they didn't remember the one that won; they just remember the one that was like funny.
I mean, they really stand out. I feel like some films don't go on to the next night, but as a viewer, that's not always what I'm into. Sometimes I'm into the. There was one a couple years ago. There was a guy named McMahon, and he made McMansions. Do you remember that one? The film was like named at his first name. I can't remember what it was, but the whole thing was he was this really angry guy, and he was so and so McMahon, and he was the idea behind the McMansion. And I laughed my ass off watching it, and it didn't move on to the next. So sometimes things, for whatever reason, don't move through. But that's not always what is interesting, I think.
I think we've all come to the conclusion that we are not the best filmmakers we can be yet, and for that reason, we've decided that everybody may as well enjoy watching us get better.
Yeah.
Cool, I like
We
that.
like to try to get everyone involved
Yeah.
in the film team.
Yeah.
Like, try to get everyone to have like a certain part in the movie as an actor
Cool.
or something, and just, everyone have a good time. Like,
Yeah.
it's very stressful, doing it for 3 days. And why not laugh and have a good time? And then, like, when you watch the movie on the big screen, like, you can laugh and
Yeah.
hear everyone else laugh. It makes you feel good,
I think that's a great attitude to take into it. I think
So that's what we try to do.
there are a lot of different attitudes going into it. Some folks are maybe further along in their filmmaking career. How long have each of you been kind of involved in film?
I mean, I think didn't we all start at the same time, pretty much?
Just say
Yeah,
that,
like,
CDC,
except
CDC.
Emily joined us for,
Yeah, I was a late joiner.
Yeah,
Like,
but we were all in the same film class in high school.
Yeah, so that would have been.
You all went to the same high school?
No,
Well,
it was
we went to
the
career tech
Yeah.
center.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
We
like
both went to
We went
Middletown.
to Middletown,
Okay.
TJ, and I actually don't know, Catoctin.
Yeah.
All right.
So
We all went to CTC, the career and
Okay.
technology
And that would have
center.
been. that would've-
2008.
Yeah, to 2008. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
All right. We're gonna go to commercial, and we'll be right back.
Should I act this out?
Yeah, act out. Adam's gonna do the commercial for us, and we're be right back.
Popcorn. It's good. Eat it.
There you have
Hi,
it, folks.
I didn't see you there, so go away.
All right, welcome back to 72 at 31. I'm Doug Powell. I'm here with Stepdad Productions, and we're gonna keep on talking about films and junk. Hey guys.
What's up?
I didn't see them.
I didn't see you. Where'd you get those shades?
They belong to Sam. And I found them on the couch, so I put them on.
I think they look good, man.
Oh, thanks.
Keeps like a little mystery to you.
Who are you?
Who are you? Look kind of like a 60s villain.
What does that mean?
Like a villain. from
Like
the
a villain in.
60s.
I get what it means. I thought you meant a villain in their 60s.
No, no, no.
Bad guy.
Yeah.
What would a villain in their 60s would be the worst? They're like, I'm going to interrupt their soap operas.
That's not even that old. He's like 60.
I'm going to call in the middle of Family Feud, and they'll never know what to do.
You're lucky I did my social security thing. I guess that's why
That's when you should be a villain, yeah.
That's when they stop being villains, because they get their social security right around like 60.
I feel like that's when you start being a villain, because you got the time.
Right,
You're collecting Social Security. You got time to villain it up.
Although, like, if
Come up
you're
with
trying to get
schemes.
revenge on people, they might be dead. Like,
Perfect.
Oh, you got your revenge.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. 60.
That's right. You can just take credit for it.
right.
Yeah. So, talk to me about like what it's like to make films outside. I know you guys said you make quick deadlines for yourself, but what is there anything different in your process of filmmaking outside of doing it quickly like that? I mean, are there things that you do differently, approaches that you take that are different from like a short time frame like the 72 Fest?
I would say no.
Well, believe
No,
it or not,
Really?
I'd say we
No, I-
get more experimental with
Oh, really?
a lot of things.
believe it or not, we actually do follow the criteria when we do 72
Start
Fests.
there.
Yeah.
anyways.
We twisted
It kind of
and worked
warps out, but we really do build from there. And
Okay.
where when we do projects outside, it's generally coming from one of our own ideas or something we want to do.
Okay, all right.
Or we've been talking about for a while.
The process, I think, remains the same though, in the sense that people can, like, we don't have like, I mean, everyone gravitates towards the roles that they want to do, but we don't like have like super assigned roles.
Right. Like I usually write, but sometimes I'm also doing I'm doing audio or I'm helping Brendan edit or something like that. So
Okay.
we're more fluid with that than a lot of groups. I think having a short deadline is one of the reasons to do that, because it instead of it being like, oh no, I'm not in charge of that, I'm in charge of this, it
Right.
becomes more of an open communication, which
And-
can sometimes be a lot of like trying to talk over each other, but for the most part, it's worked out.
Okay. And do you all tend to keep to similar roles?
Oh, no.
You kind of bounce around.
That roles we fall into, but then, you know, everybody does
I mean,
little
Right.
of everything.
Brendan has been
Brendan
our
turns into
savior every
Yeah.
single project
Turns
with
into a
pulling
vampire.
all-nighters, editing, and just
Yeah.
being
Okay.
like every good editing decision you've seen in our movies is entirely this guy right
Brendan
here.
stays up all night and
Yeah, I
turns
pulled
into
a lot of
vampire.
all-nighters out of
Yep.
the
Really?
projects. Yeah.
You guys all go to sleep while
He
Brendan.
sucks
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
We try to-
Oh yeah.
Well, we try to keep somebody up with
Yeah.
Brennan, because it's nice to have a buddy there in
Yeah.
case you do something crazy and you're like, dude, what are you
In
doing?
case he falls
Yeah.
asleep at the
Yeah.
camera.
Everyone, no matter what, though, in the process has a creative voice. They
Cool.
can
Yeah,
shout out
that's-
whatever
Absolutely.
they want.
That's something we strive
And
for.
if we like it as a group, we'll be like, yes. I mean, what did we do last year? We started voting. That was
Did
weird.
we?
Yeah,
We
we were
st-
like,
Yeah, we did.
all right, I vote to move on. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Well, that was because Cody kept going off about that cocaine inside the guy's body idea. We had to stop doing
We
that.
had
wasn't
to, we
against
had to
the
make it
idea.
stop.
Last year was bad because the very first night
Oh,
we filmed,
oh.
we stayed out all night in Cody's horse barn in Pennsylvania.
We shot the
and we
end
were
of Night Magic.
exhausted. We filmed so much stuff we didn't need because we were exhausted.
Right.
And we weren't exactly sure where we were going with this movie anyways. We were all yelling and crying and being angry at each other. It was bad.
I did not cry.
Just for the record, Cody
Did
did
not.
not.
It
cry.
made the rest of the weekend feel like an absolute breeze.
Okay.
Yeah,
It
this
did.
past year was our best year of doing the 72-hour film fest for time schedule
Yeah.
Yeah.
and just we had like 2 hours of time left before the 72-hour film fest was actually over,
Yeah.
and we actually spent time and reviewed and
Okay.
looked over the film. Other years, we're like right up to the deadline, and we're like,
Yeah.
you
No
know, this
time
is
to
the
even
best
look
it's
at
gonna
that.
get,
Yeah.
you know.
Running to the door.
Is it
Right,
going to
right.
be exported on time?
Right.
Well, now
right.
we got a new computer because it all
Right.
one was
Oh,
like
yeah,
playing. It was
that-
like
that
the
really
deer
helps.
hunter were playing like
Yeah.
Russian roulette. Like, will this export? Well, this, you know.
What are you guys shooting on, editing on right now?
Oh boy, you're not gonna like this.
So I have a Blackmagic Pocket.
And we have
We haven't yet
T3i,
used that in
T3i.
a teaser. in our-
So we use it for some of our films.
We use it in some of our films. We haven't used it for 72 yet, but
We
I
always
think
bring
that
it
could
really
change
cool.
recently. That could change because we've gotten more used to using
And we
it.
used to not like really have that many cameras, so we used to just like bum cameras off people, like usually like on the Canon line.
Right.
But
Yeah, and then we
What am-
edit with all our films have been edited. At least for 72 Film Fest have been edited on Final Cut Pro 7.
Not 10, not
Not-
X,
Not
7.
X. But because that's what I edit all of them, and that's what I've like learned on
Mhm.
and gotten used
Sure.
to. But then recently I had to edit on Premiere for the first time. Like I did what he just graduated in one of his final projects at his school. I edited for
Did
him.
a big
Okay.
final project.
And I was forced to edit on Premiere
Yeah.
just because it was just high resolution footage and it was the only thing I had access to, and I fell in love with Premiere. So
Okay, cool.
which we
from this
should not
point
shut
forward,
on.
I know Premiere is so much better than Final Cut 7. So from this point forward, it's gonna be all Premiere. But
The other side was the movie where we finally swapped over from the what is it, the Panasonic
Like mini
TV,
yeah.
tape camera,
Mhm.
and our one
The present-
team member brought a
A 60
70
70 yeah,
70
yeah, something
camera,
like that.
and we filmed like the last scene on that 70
The
camera.
present day was the DVD
TV
tape.
tapes.
Okay.
And the flashback was.
And
the,
we think that
Okay.
that flashback like made that movie what it was and everything.
Okay.
So we're like, from here on out, we're not using Panasonic cameras. We want to use, the
Cool.
Canon
Just one of those
cameras
little
and
lessons
everything.
you learn along the way.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was our kind of turning point to using, better equipment and cameras and everything else.
Last year was our first time doing synced sound for
That-
72.
Yeah.
And I feel
Nice.
like that's really
We were
stuck
we
with
were
them.
worried
Yeah.
about it, like, because it was going to take like a lot longer to write out the slate and to do all that stuff. But then it actually made the editing process so much
I'm
faster.
sure. I'm sure that made your life a lot
And
easier.
it sounded
Yeah.
so
It
much
sounded a lot
better.
better.
You
Can
can
I-
just strap a shotgun to it and just roll.
Right.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
getting better.
And it's cool. You are right. We are seeing you guys grow
Yeah.
in front of our eyes. Personally, just watching your films this past week, not only did I just really like White Magic for its comedic value. It's just
Also for the lessons it brings.
no, yeah. Yes. I just like some of the lines are really funny. Like he's like the Coke Wizard's like, I see you found my trailer. Just the casual way he says that as he's drinking a
I
beer.
don't think that was funny.
Yeah,
It made me
like,
laugh
it's
so
literally-
hard.
We thought that was just like, okay, that makes sense for him to sit there. And then we
It
got
just-
into editing, and we were like, oh, that's
That's
on the
very
show.
funny, right?
Yeah.
Because the Coke Wizard obviously lives in a parking lot in the trailer. In the "this dog is a wizard" or something line made me laugh every time.
This guy was really
But also the editing of that I thought was your best so far. Like
Yeah.
your and in the composition, the shots. Like I really enjoyed the party where the two guys are just sitting on the couch, and the way you're dressed, like the suspenders and the orange shirt and the contrast of the green shirt and the cake, it was good. You guys are definitely improving for sure.
Yeah. Before White Magic, we all went to Goodwill, and that's where we get our clothes.
Okay.
And we told Adam to get the most skinny, like small jeans that he could fit into. He's like, dude, I can't wear these. I'm like, nah, it's perfect. And like throughout the whole movie, you don't even see his legs. Those skinny jeans that cannot hardly fit on him at all.
For like half the shots are not even buttoned.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't do it. And I was like, guys, I'm not gonna have children after this. Like,
That movie was one of the most ridiculous ones in terms of like playing with style.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
I feel like after Chairs, we actually kind of like a lot of the process of making White Magic was like, we have to be crazier than Chairs. We're known for Chairs.
Right.
We have to be weirder.
Yeah.
So it was like, can we fit like a Wes Anderson flashback, a mockumentary, like a dramatization, a action film? Can we fit this in 6 minutes?
Yeah.
And like that was like kind of our driving goal, was to like just be weirder.
Yeah, there were hints of Napoleon Dynamite in that, just with that scene I was describing.
with a llama.
Not necessarily with the llama, but just that scene I was describing had tones, the music, the style, the garb.
We did have one scene we had to unfortunately cut because we couldn't get it to work, but it was the one where like we never discussed like how my character found the cocaine wizard, and there was like a point where I was driving in the car and we had like the little dime bag, and it was like going like that way,
And
like
they were following it like a compass.
like a compass.
The original idea for that was to attach a fishing rod
Yeah.
over top of the car, and it was going to hang down in front of the window,
Yeah.
and it was going to move, and they were going to like drive their car following it, and it was like going to glow and stuff. This is really
We're going to
stuff.
tie a glow stick
And
behind
that
it.
didn't work, so then we had it
Oh,
on, like,
somehow that didn't work.
so then we were going to have it on the dashboard, like flying
Yeah.
back and forth. And we shot it, and there's footage of us shooting it, and then we just scrapped the whole idea.
We have
He had
no.
to straddle me.
I did,
Like
yeah,
in
because
that
I was filming
passenger
that
seat, just
scene.
like.
We have generally like no idea how to make inanimate objects move without fishing line, and so like we've just given up and gone like, okay, you'll see the fishing line, and like we lucked out in Chairs because like we have one shot where it's pulled with fishing line, but
Right.
Brian had the idea to like overlay dramatic fire over
Yeah.
it. And then in one of our later movies, Him and Her, which wasn't a 72 festival.
Oh yeah, I saw
we
that.
we just had the fishing line. We had a talking shoe, and we
Right.
just attached fishing line to it and made it like flap up and down to have it talk. And we were just like, you know what, whatever.
I was
We're gonna
absolutely
go with it.
fine with the fishing wire showing in the shoe one.
Right.
It worked out pretty good in Chairs though.
Commercial.
I can't see.
Welcome back to 72 at 31. I'm sitting here with Stepdad Productions. We're gonna start wrapping it up here, guys. Don't fall down. What is that? Cody's had
How many
too
cocaine
much
did you have?
beer.
I feel a little dizzy.
7.
You're not you when you drink.
So I wanted to ask you guys, what are your, I guess independently, and maybe as a group, what are your overall aspirations? Like, why are you doing film, and what do you hope to do with film? Adam, if you want to start.
I don't really know. It's just like it's a blast to make movies with these guys. So
Yeah.
you know, if it like sucked, you know, maybe I wouldn't do it with them anymore or do it at all. But like you know, just I guess the passion just comes from the fact that it's like so much fun. I think we were talking about how like we made like the other side, and we we're like, okay, that was cool, that was fulfilling, and all that stuff. And then we made Cheap People, and we're like, oh, that was awesome.
You guys seem to have a lot of fun. In your comedies, it comes through that you're having a blast. I
We
would
get a
say.
lot of bloopers.
Yeah, I watched your Sheep People bloopers.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we try not to be too serious when we
Yeah.
film and everything, because we're all here to get together and have a good time, and that's what we're trying to do. So when we're
But-
filming, a lot of times we try to have a good time.
Right, but you all went to a specific school where you all met one another with these aspirations to do film, and you're a part of a 72 Fest every year and other festivals where, you know, it's money out of your pocket, it's time out of your day. You know, do you have bigger goals? Yeah.
I would like to be a writer and director.
Okay.
That's really my ultimate goal.
Cool.
Especially writer.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have plans to, at some point in time, move to some other city, bigger city?
I would like to do something really good first. So I
Okay.
can have my name on just something very high quality and like very like I can put this out as my calling card
Coke wizard.
before I go throw myself.
Sheep people
The sheep people, the sheep will. The other side 2, grass is greener. Breakdown 2, break this.
What about
Sheep
Elysium
People
Beach?
3.
Children of the
What are you
Sheep?
talking
we don't talk about that.
What?
Wait,
Elysium
what's
Beach?
Elysium?
I've never heard of
I've never heard of
What's that?
What is
Did
it?
we- is
Why don't
that
you tell
us?
us about it?
I was in England.
You were in England? Elysium Beach is this film. It's this thing. No big deal. What about... So,
Yes.
We don't know that.
I really want to get into editing. I really enjoy, the idea of taking hours and hours of footage and, making it into a 10-minute, hour-long
God
film.
bless you, man. I feel like that's everybody's least favorite. So it's a good thing there are people who really enjoy and are good at it, too. Because, I mean, man, I've seen... You see raw footage and it's just nothing. And you see partially put together footage and it's still just not great. But then that finished editing, the finished edited product
It's
is...
just great. I really enjoy the fact that you can take, somebody could go out and with the best cameras, best actors and shoot this amazing drama, and you put in the editing, and you can turn it to like a stupid comedy. Like I just love the fact
Right.
you can completely change
Yeah,
stuff like that.
that's awesome. So do you also maybe are you planning on moving somewhere, doing something like that?
There's a small possibility that I have a lot of family over in Ireland. Like my dad was born there, so all my cousins and aunts and uncles are over there, and I've always been I've always been intrigued in possibly moving there one day and
Okay.
actually working up in Belfast and doing stuff.
Your
with,
family's from Belfast?
Yeah, all my family's there.
My family's from Belfast.
What? It's
Yeah,
crazy.
we'll talk about that later.
Go be with your own kind. We don't need you gingers here.
Whoa! Shit just got real here. Emily, what are your aspirations?
Well, I actually didn't meet them at the same time that they all met each other. I accidentally dated Eric.
It was.
and-
Things happen.
I accidentally dated Eric.
Yeah, I don't know. But then like,
Whoops,
it
days.
was during a 72 Fest, and they realized they needed a girl, and they did not have
Yeah,
one.
we don't have
And
Not many teams
Girls.
do.
yeah, and so
Yeah.
they called me, and they were like, Emily, come join us. And so because I've been acting my whole life, and then from there I was like, hey, this is really fun. And then I've kind of learned a lot about almost everything. I run sound. I've been behind the camera.
So what do you want to do more with that?
I do.
You're in
but
dance,
I
you
haven't been
dance.
to school for it.
You don't have to go to school for that.
I went to
You don't
school
have to go to
for it. It was
school
a
for
huge
anything.
waste of time.
Okay.
Children.
Cool. So I'll keep doing what I'm doing and see what happens.
Okay, cool. There you go. Cody?
I just like to do it as a hobby.
Yeah, cool. And cocaine.
Yeah, you know.
Chairs too, easy
Okay.
chair here.
So you just have fun doing it.
Yeah,
That-
if we make it somewhere, like as a team and everything, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But, it could happen, it could not happen.
Mhm.
But, I got my career ahead of me and everything.
Cool. What do you do?
I do plumbing and heating
Cool, man.
and work for my father's company.
Cool.
Hopefully take over that business.
All right.
But, just do it as a hobby.
Yeah.
I do film work on the side for hobby and stuff. And, like I said, if we make it big, then, I ditch the plumbing and do filmmaking. But, until then, it's a hobby.
I hear you. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. That's it for us this time. We'll see you next time.